welcome to another episode of the Vinny Show. I am Vinny, and tonight's guest is Monique Impagliazzo. Monique, I said it with a little bit of an Italian twist to it. Impagliazzo, right? That's the Italian way.
That is the Italian way.
Anyway, listen, great to have you tonight. It's been much anticipated, and I'm so excited, and you're finally here, so welcome.
Vin, thank you so much for having me. Yes, we've been talking about this for a while, and I appreciate you even reaching out and wanting to have a little chat. I'm really excited to be here, and your show is great, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. And look, I mean, it's a real pleasure to have you. We've been talking about it and all the wonderful things that you've been doing. And here we are. So Monique is a local from South Philly, now living in LA. And she's a writer, producer, director, you name it, she's doing it. And I'm so excited because you have music video coming up, but most of all, the Women's Film Festival in Philadelphia is September 23rd, a few days away. But yes, before we get into all that, talk about your background, tell everybody a little bit of your history.
Well, born and raised in South Philly, went to Temple University for film school. I always wanted to get into the arts ever since I was a kid. My mom loved films, so we watched a lot of movies in our house, went to the movies a lot. And I just loved it from probably when I was around 13. Went to film school. Not too many, women from South Philly did at the time. Hopefully there's more and more. And decided to move out to LA probably about 14 or 15 years ago now. So I love coming back home. I'm so excited to, come back for the Women's Film Festival. And so I'm just want to make more. I want to make more films and series about Philly, about South Philly. I think it's really important that the world sees who we are and how we live. And it's really important to show the world that, for sure. We're a unique type.
I have to agree with you because going out, as I was leaving LA, I think you were coming because I left in 2015. I stayed there for a brief stay, but being in LA, being in New York, being in Italy, being in different parts of the world, I also realized, South Philly is its own thing. It's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful, it's in one big neighborhood. I mean, let's face it. And so I think it's sometimes we don't realize it until we're out of our element.
Oh, yeah. We are a unique breed. Plus, we have the best food. It's very hard to get really good food out in LA. I love LA. I love California. I love living here. But let's face it, we have the best food.
Listen, between us, just us. Yes, I agree. And I'm sure some of my buddies in New York would disagree. But I remember being like, I remember being out there and going to like Ralph's or something. And I'm like, oh my God, it's $7 a pound for chicken cutlets. This is 2005. I'm sorry, 2005 is when I was there.
Wow.
So, I'm like totally scarred by it. I was like, I couldn't believe it. But anyway, now being from South Philly, you also did a project, which I'm, as you know, huge fan of.
Yes.
Beautiful, wonderful short called Turkey's Done. Tell us all about it.
Yes. Turkey's Done was my very first short film, something that I was a producer, director, writer, and produced it with two other women from South Philly, the Teenies, Jen and Crystal Teeny. And we had a blast. And South Philly, really, they came out. Let's face it. I mean, they wanted to donate food. We had Mark Liuzzi donate a production office. Pastificio got behind it. They donated lunch a couple days on set, and for our production meetings, a hoagie tray. Maria Rossetti, who's a real estate agent for Mercury, donated her house as a location. I mean, Mark Squilla was behind us every step of the way. Anything we needed, he was like, just call me. I'll make it happen. So, and just everybody in the neighborhood came out and was there for us. It was just amazing. While we were shooting, everyone was there. You don't have that in LA. In LA, people shoot here all the time. So it sometimes can be annoying with big crews. But Philly really pulled through, obviously, especially South Philly for us. And till this day, I mean, we crowdfunded to raise the funds. Then, we did an Indiegogo. And it really just snowballed. When we hit send to, for the campaign to go live, we were like, how are we going to raise this money? And then it blew my mind every day during the campaign. We even went back to Philly. We did some publicity for it. And then we winded up premiering at the Women's Film Festival and had an amazing premiere. The women over there are amazing. We have Fang Nguyen and Susie Nash, Diana Hull, those three women from Philly, love Philly filmmakers, female filmmakers. So it was at the Kimmel Center. It was so fun. We had a great after party. And it was just great to have that celebration. You know, a lot of people came out who either donated or who were a part of the film, our cast, our crew. And then, of course, we had Sherry O'Terry. How could I forget to mention Sherry, who is such a vital part of the success. And we also had Vic DiBitetto, star, and Al Sapienza from The Sopranos came down, and we just had a blast. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, wow. I mean, you had a great cast, and you also blended in very nicely, and it worked really well. You had some local actresses, right? You had
Yes.
teenies. You had Natalie
Yes,
was in
Crystal
it.
was the star. Yes, Natalie Gershio, that's right, who's from South Philly too. She was amazing and did so much for us to help promote and to get it out there. And she came to the Jersey City Film Festival, the Golden Door Film Festival, to celebrate, where we received Best Comedy at that film festival. So it was a lot of fun. And it's so funny too, because we went out to the Just for Laughs Film Festival in Canada. It was in Vancouver. And we actually we were in the top of like, they said it was like, I don't know, over 600 or to 1,000 shorts. And we were so warmly welcomed in Canada. So I knew that, you know, South Philly and how we are and our generosity is going to just, you know, it comes out with, you know, resonates with people no matter where you're from, you know. So to see that happen was really exciting too.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's relatable. I mean, you don't have to be from South Philly to get it. And I really, the story was great. You just did a great job writing it. You know, your photography, principal, everything was just right on point. And I'm a big fan of Cheryl Terry. I love her. She's just
Yeah.
love her comedy.
Philly girl. She loved coming home, and everyone welcomed her with open arms. And then she actually came to the Women's Film Festival too, which was again a lot of fun. And we had a blast just celebrating and with everyone. So it was a really good time. Yeah, she's hysterically funny and so talented.
Oh, I mean, she's a consummate comedian. Like she really just turns into whatever she's doing. It's just
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
It's a gift. It's such a gift.
It's incredible. It's incredible to watch her because, you know, the scene where she stuffs the turkey, there were no lines written, and every time she did a take, it was something different, and it was something even funnier. And we were all just trying not to laugh to mess up the shot, because it just got even. It was just incredible what she did. So we can't thank her enough for everything that she did for the film and her support and her talent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
Really, really made that. All right, so let's go back. So what gave you the I want, for lack of a better word, courage, let's say, to move out west?
You know, I was working at the Marianne Claro Talent Agency, which was right there in South Philly for many years. I was an intern for Marianne. I was her first intern, and she was so sweet. And I said, "Can I come work for you if you'll just teach me the business?" I was very young. I was still in, you know, Temple, and I was doing my internship. And she's like, "I never had an intern before, but sure, if you want to come on out." And I did. And she introduced me to a producer by the name of Diane Kerman and a director, Stuart Raffle. They are married, Diane and Stuart. And they were working on a musical in South Jersey called Standing Ovation. And so we shot everything in Philly. We shot everything, you know, in Jersey. And when we did post-production, they live out here. And they said, I kept on coming out back. I was flying back and forth. I don't know, like once a month, you know, I'd come out, work a few weeks, go back to Philly, come out again. Until the point Diane said to me, "Mo, can you like move here?" And I said, "Yes, I think it's time." And it was just, it made so much sense. So I always knew, I think I was going to come out for work. And I finally did. And it was a great time. I fell in love with LA because the very first time I came here wasn't for a film. It was just it was different work that I was doing. And I was like, I'll never live there. But as I kept on coming back, I fell in love with the West Coast for sure.
I listen, it's a beautiful place. You know, I still have a lot of great memories from being out there. I mean, it's a magical place. No matter how things have changed throughout the years, of course,
Right.
everywhere changes, but it's still it's just nothing like it. I mean, there's nothing like Hollywood. There's nothing like LA. It's a magical place.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. It's the weather. You can't beat the weather. Although we actually had rain in August. We had our first tropical storm the other day in 84 years here with an earthquake on top of that all in one day. So that was quite an adventure for sure for us here. The
Yeah,
hurricanes.
Well, I know about you know, everybody knows about the earthquakes, but like that whole thing, I'm like, oh, hurricane, or I'm like, I don't. Well, look, even in Philly, I mean, this part of this Philly and South Jersey,
Right.
tornadoes. I mean, how does that even happen? Tornadoes in South Jersey. It's weird.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I know. But yeah, everything's good. Everything's back to normal here. We're back to full sunshine. And yeah, loving the West Coast per usual.
First time I was out there, I thought I was real smart. I walked from, I don't know, like Tarzana to Burbank or something. Like I
What?
literally walked it. I was out of my mind, and I walked the whole, like literally
That's
from
a lot
Tarzana.
of walking then.
And I'm starting to now, but I never liked to wear sunglasses. And my friend used to tell me, who lived out there, he's like, gotta wear sunglasses. I don't like them. I just didn't like the way they felt on my face. My eyes the next day were bloodshot. Like I actually got some sunburn on my eyes. It was crazy.
Yes, it's crazy. You're right. I have to wear sunglasses all the time. As soon as I get in the car, the sunglasses have to go right on. It's just constantly sunny. You can't help it. It's crazy.
Now, also, okay, so it's already out, but let's talk about the music video.
Yes. Very excited about the music video. The artist, Malek Hanna, is multi-talented. He's an actor, he's a singer, and he was looking for a director for this new music video that he wanted to shoot. And I just messaged him and I just said, Mal, I'd love to, have my name thrown in the hat for your director. And he was like, Mo, oh my God, it's perfect. I hadn't really talked to him in a while. So him and I got to connect again. And it's just been such an amazing experience. And to work with him, and him and I talk now every single day. We basically start our morning or sometimes we end our day. And we're actually getting ready to produce another music video together for another artist by the name of Rosalind Kind. Her voice is amazing and she's pretty legendary. So him and I are going to do that next. Obviously, Rosalind is the head producer on that, but Malek and I are going to co-produce it, and I'm going to direct that one too. And so we started prepping that already. So things are just snowballing. That's what happens. Work gets work, and you just got to keep on pushing forward in this business because there's a lot of people out there who are trying to do it. So, but working with Malek, helping him get his message out into the world was obviously my main goal. So we talked a lot about what this song means to him, what his message was, and what he wanted to go out into the world. And it was just a great time. And we had a great director of photography, Justin Odell, who is amazing. And yeah, it was a pretty amazing experience. We had a blast.
That's amazing. And now the song, if I'm not mistaken, it's "Which Way to Go," correct?
Yes, Which Way to Go. That's right. Thank you for saying the song name, Vinny. I should have said that first. I was mentioning Malek's name. Yes, Which Way to Go. And then Malek's also going to have about 9 or 10 songs that are going to come out from September through December. So he's recording a lot of songs, putting out a few other music videos as well for another song called We Can't Stop. But yeah, he's a busy guy. He's a great guy. You'll see from the music video that his energy is just, you just want to be around him. He's just this light, and a great person and so giving and loving. And him and I just clicked again. We were friends already, but here we are, friends a little later in life for the both of us. And yeah, it was a great experience, and we're going to do it again, hopefully soon with him as well.
That's fantastic. Now I'm curious, how was the transition? Is it much of a transition to go from film to music videos? Is that like a tough kind of transition, or is that not as hard as it sounds?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is a little different in the sense that when you're coming up with a concept, I love to tell stories. That's one of my favorites. And I love music videos that, you just, see the artists, playing or singing. But I love, seeing a story, and Malek does too. So him and I talked a lot about what that was going to look like. And he also wanted to shoot some dialogue. You'll see some dialogue in the front end and at the back end, which is a lot of fun. And we told the story, and obviously during the song is the script, right? That's the lyrics, the words. And so you tell the story through obviously all the visuals, even though you do too in a film. But it's it's the same but a little different. Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. It's telling a story, but in a different way.
Right, you just have to learn the you have different timetable, you have different, there's it's maybe a little bit different chemistry, but kind of same idea. I get it. All right, cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so so okay, so being a woman, being in the industry, do you still see a lot of hurdles trying to, well, it doesn't sound like you have any problems getting work, but I mean, is there still that sort of that wall or that glass ceiling that you still kind of have to crack or work harder to
Yes.
get through?
Yes, it's still there. It is getting better, thank God. But I always I'm working with a producer right now, writing a series about Philly, which we'll talk about later. Her name is Wendy Cox, and we were talking about how we have to work twice as hard. We have to consistently push ourselves and work twice as hard to get out there. But people like Malek and Justin, who are supportive of female filmmakers, that is definitely the right path we're going on. And obviously having the success of Barbie, now one of the biggest grossing female directors, we're just doing it little by little. We're getting there. I actually just attended a women in media event last weekend, where I met a lot of female DPs, director of photography. And for those of you who don't know, they head the camera department, so they're helping you tell the story through the camera lens, and they're having the same issues as we are. So it's good for me to meet with other female DPs, work with them. I worked with a great one, Rachel Hastings, who is a good friend of mine, and she's very big in 600. That's their union, the cinematographers union, and they're just trying to do as much as they can as well to push other women, mentorships. We have a lot of shadowing programs for directors, and that's what the cinematographers are trying to do as well. So yeah, we have to do whatever we can to basically get our name out there and try and work on as many projects as we can. But yeah, there definitely is still a lot of hurdles for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just talking with someone today about it, and it's if you look a little bit of the history of Hollywood, it's probably it's definitely better, much better now than it ever was. But that's not really saying much. But years ago, and I'm sure you know this, but 100 years ago, studios owned the actors and actresses. They owned them. I mean, they did. It was, you had to be signed to the studio, and they had you for X amount of time, and like you couldn't get out of it. And so they pretty much owned everything. The industry was owned by these giants
Yeah.
these studios. And then things opened up. I don't know, maybe the last 30 years, actors had a little bit more freedom, and there was more, but there's still a lot. I mean, with the strike too, and there's a certain mentality out there. I mean, I'm not a union member. I'm a union member in a different industry, but
Right.
I'm very much pro union. I'm a shop
Yeah.
steward. So,
Yeah.
and to put it out there, I stand in solidarity with the WGA and SAG.
Me too.
And
Yeah. Of course.
what I don't understand though is, could it be that they really don't want to compromise? And it's a sad thing, because there is plenty of room for negotiation. I'm the kind of person that I always, in every experience I've had, whether it's personal, whether it's professional or whatever, I've always been able to meet halfway and give up something. And because when you negotiate and things are reasonable, everybody wins and it's over. That's it. it just to me
Exactly.
it seems absurd that we're at this point.
Yeah, this is the longest strike, and it's a double strike, the WGA and SAG-AFTRA all at once. So, I've gone down to the picket lines, and um the whole city, this whole city is built on on the film industry and TV and commercials and reality. Although you can shoot reality commercials and music videos. They're the only things that you can shoot during these strikes. But and then there's some SAG waivers that they are given, but it is affecting so many people because it trickles down. And I agree with you 100%. I mean, let's go to the table, let's talk about it. This is affecting millions and millions of people, not only on this coast but on the East Coast as well, so
Yeah, it's costing a
let's
lot of people. I mean,
do it.
people have to pay their bills. It's just terrible. And
Exactly.
I don't know if it's true. There's one opinion out there I heard that was like, well, the studios are just trying to starve them out and then, crush them. So this way they'll come begging for, for the ability to work again with it. But it sounds crazy. I don't know what to believe.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of publicity that has been, around it. You don't know what to believe. We just hope that, we want to go back to work. Basically, we love what we do. We want to go back to work, but this needed to happen. And, we're all in solidarity with each other. And hopefully our only hope is that it changes our industry for the better, for the future. But it
Well,
needs
I've learned something that people that have power do not give it up unless they have to.
True.
And
True.
unfortunately, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to loosen the grip. So again, prayers that the strike ends in a very good negotiable way as soon as possible.
Right. I pray too. Hopefully soon.
So, so going forward, what do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? What do you see yourself doing? I mean, obviously you're doing what you want to do, but is there some other challenges or things that you want to, any goals that maybe you'd like to accomplish?
Yes. Next on my agenda, I'd love to direct a feature film or episodic TV. It's very hard to break into episodic. It's the biggest hurdle we as female directors probably have at this point. It's very hard. But having a feature under your belt looks good. So I did write a Christmas feature, and I'm working with a film company out of Philadelphia called Three Left-Handed Women. And they love the script, and we're working hard to try and find investors right now, people who want to get behind the film. So if there's anyone out there, even if you think, I never invested in a film before, you can get involved. So we're open, and please find us. I'm really excited about that because I was a writer. I plan to direct. And during the strike, I was also writing that pilot that I was telling you about. And we want to shoot this series in Philly. I'm working on it with a producer. I mentioned her before, Wendy Cox, who is a lover of Philadelphia, born and raised. So am I. We love our city. It's very Philly centric. And it's about a woman from South Philly who is a sports agent. And she's new, kind of coming up the ranks. But if she can, she has a father who is involved in illegal gambling, so she has to overcome that hurdle. But it's really exciting also researching and learning so much about, obviously, the sports world. It's a whole different world than the film world. But female sports agents are making their way just like female directors. So I can I understand what they're going through, and the struggles and the challenges. They're not the same, but sort of, but not really. And it's all very interesting to me about what they have to do to get the job done as well. So and that series is called Agency, and then the feature film is called Ready, Set, Christmas. I need to start saying my titles here.
Oh yeah, and obviously we'll make sure we put links down in the description box, which you'll find that you can please everybody. By the way, I mean, I say this all the time, but I mean this. Please do this. Make sure we support Monique. Go to her, click follow, support everything that she's doing because she's a wonderful person. She deserves it.
Thank you so much. I know. And if there's anything out there that I can do, I'm like, I love when I hear someone say, please let me know what I can do to help you. And I am really trying to say it as well. And I truly, honestly, I want to help as many people as possible. And if there are any women or any filmmakers out there, guys, girls from South Philly, from anywhere, who have a question, let me know. It's not, everyone sometimes is scared. I don't know where to start or what to do. I met so many people there answering all of my questions kind of coming up. So yeah, write me, message me. I'll answer your questions as quickly as I can.
There you go. So there's no excuse out there. There you go. She
Yeah.
offered, but now take her up on it. And you showed initiative. I think the overarching theme is that you showed initiative. Uh, when you were in college, you decided to intern. You took a shot, and you again go into LA. So it takes initiative, and
Yes.
as long as you have the drive and you really want something desperately, badly, go after it, and things just seem to line up. But you have to put the work in. I'm a big believer that hard work always pays off.
It's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. We're constantly, I'm working on all different projects. Like I said, right now, even with the strike going on, you just got to keep pushing. Some days are easier than others. Some days are really hard because you feel like you just made a few steps forward and then you're, 3 or 4 steps back. So this business does challenge you, and don't get frustrated right away. If it's something that you really want, you will push yourself forward, and you keep on taking risks. It's a lot of risks in this business too, and you have to be brave because it could be scary. It could be really scary. But if you believe and there's something that your message you want to get that message out into the world, you want to tell that story, you want to work with certain people because they inspired you, just go out there, do the work, do the best you can, show up, be on time, all these things we know. And try and be memorable too in some way. And you just got to keep on pushing forward.
Right. I mean, look, and you again, just to repeat myself, initiative. It took initiative to go to Marianne Claro and become an intern. It
Yes.
took initiative to go to LA. It took initiative to contact Malek and to be a part of that project. And all 3 of those things paid off, right? So as long as you do your part, God, the universe will take care of the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Vin. Just like this show. Here we are. You wanted to do it, and we're doing it.
Yeah, and I'm doing it.
You are. I love it. I love that you're doing it, and I love your content. And
Thank you.
seriously, thank you for what you're doing, and for everyone from South Philly and everyone making things in New York. I know you have a lot of friends there too. Thank you. Seriously, you're like such a great guy, and everybody just like wants to know you and talk to you. You have that personality,
I think I got a great soundbite just now. That's great. I'm using that. Every time my wife says something, I'm gonna say, "Listen to this."
Here you go.
Nah, thank you, man. That's sweet. Thank you. I look. Maybe it's us in South Philly, our way that our upbringing or whatever you want to call it. But I get pleasure out of doing what we're doing, just talking, promoting each other, helping each other out. I love to see people just like me from the neighborhood that are doing something really great. And look, even if you aren't out there, but you're local, or even if it's just a matter of just raising a beautiful family, success is measured in so many different ways.
Yes,
So
it is.
we should support each other, and it's a beautiful thing. It's not always like that in other cities. I'm not going to mention who, what, but there's definitely a difference. You're exactly right when you say that there's something about the South Philly, the way we're kind of all like tightly knit. It's a small kind of place in the world.
There's no place like it. There is no place like it. And that's why I love it. And I'm so proud to be from there. I try and tell everybody as much as I can. And that's why I want to make films and series about where we're from, because it's so interesting. And we have so many characters, but we also have everyone there just has the biggest hearts. Seriously. There's no place like it. So.
And the other thing too, I know most people are going to start throwing things at the screen, but I think it's because it's small. It's a small part of a city. When you get into bigger cities and a lot more neighborhoods, there's a lot more competition. So everybody's kind of at it. with each other because they're all going after the same thing. It's just there's just I think that's what it is. I think there's that component of competitiveness, and because you're in a bigger place and there's limited resources, let's say.
Yeah. I don't know. I find that everybody, from the neighborhood is just so supportive, because it's like it happens to one of us. Like, if I know you had I mean, like, it's people even from South Philly, like Joan Roman, and I'm just always so happy when I'm seeing people succeeding. Row Home Magazine, when something happens and it's something, with them, I'm just like always so happy because it feels like it's happening to one of us, and you should be happy. Send that positivity out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love their magazine. They are consistently promoting, the neighborhood people we grew up with. You see them in a magazine. It's a beautiful thing. I love what they're doing. So big shout out to Rojo Magazine.
Love them. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see what else I had a couple other things that I want to touch upon while you're
Yeah.
here. And it's like, I have you. So I'm so excited to have you here that I want to make sure I don't forget anything.
Oh.
What about some challenges? I mean, personal, professional. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced when you were fresh in LA? Was it tough adapting?
It wasn't tough adapting as much as when you work in our business, it's endless amount of hours that you're working. So your personal life turns into very little because you're working so hard and you're trying to make a mark, and everyone else out there is working obviously just as hard as you are. So I think for me, it's trying to find that balance. When I'm on a project, I am literally almost 24/7. Very little sleep, a lot of coffee these days, but as we get older. And it's really trying to find that balance. Because when you're on projects, a lot of times, even on the weekends, you're answering calls, you're answering emails, and you want to, because you feel like on Monday you're going to be so backed up, but and you're going to miss so much. So for me, in working in this business, I find that trying to find my balance is always a struggle. I'm trying to be better about it, but if I'm on a project, especially one that I'm either producing, writing, or directing, I'm all in. So I have to really do my best to find that time to, spend with my family, make phone calls. Obviously, everybody's back in South Philly. So when I'm looking at time, I'm always like, okay, it's 3 hours later there. That's how I tell time in LA, because yeah, I know what the time it is here, but more importantly, what time is it in South Philly right now? So, my family, all my GLs are back there, my girlfriends. So, yeah, just making sure I'm still staying in touch with everyone, even though I'm on constant group texts, and which I love. And when they tell me my girlfriends are going out, and I get really sad, but it feels so great. They're just always there for me, my family too, no matter what, just like supporting. So it's the balance. It's the balance, man. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a confession to you. On my cell phone, I have LA time, I have Philly, and then I have Italy. So the three places I'm
Yes.
trying. Oh, what time is it?
Oh,
So
love it.
yeah, I have to make I have to make a return to the West Coast. It's been a while. I have actually some family, but a lot of friends out there too. So we're hopefully might that opportunity may come with something we're working on now. So let's see. I mean, who knows? I might meet you down on Melrose one day.
Then you better call me. Seriously, I'm coming.
Oh, you'll know. You'll definitely know. You'll know. Trust me. I'll be hitting everybody up. Well, listen, Monique, I think that's all for today. I'd love to bring you back again after some more success. I mean, but all kidding aside, you're a driven person. You got success written all over. You're already successful, but it's going to increase. So be proud of yourself. We're all proud of you. I speak for all South Philly when I say that. And can't wait to see you in a few days, right? Go ahead, plug what sites you have or any way people can find you or look you up in addition to the description. But go ahead. Where else can we find you?
My website is manifestingproductions.com. That's my film company. So you can see all my latest work or what we have in development. Feel free to message me. of course, on social media, I'm Monique Impagliazzo. And make sure you check out Which Way to Go by Malek Hanna. That's on YouTube. Watch, like if you wish, leave us a comment. That'd be amazing. And yeah, let's be friends on social media. I'd love to follow everybody and, follow your journey as well. And I think that's it.
That's great. I mean, and listen, again, thank you for your time, Monique. It's been awesome. Really, I really mean that. And again, everybody, if you haven't already, please subscribe, but make sure you're following everything that Monique's doing. Support her and reach out to her. You have an open invite. Who knows? Maybe you could collaborate with her on some project. You never know. So there's plenty of gems out there. Hopefully we can connect the dots and something even better can come along. So again,
come to the Women's Film Festival on the 23rd in Philly.
There you go. And that's the most important thing. Right. A couple of days, please. I'll be there. I can't wait to support you in person, and we're going to have a great time. Awesome. So again, thank everyone for watching. Monique, you've watched Monique Impagliazzo, South Philly native, hitting the big time in LA. We love you. Thanks again, Monique. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, Ben. This was awesome.
Thank you. Ciao, everybody.